Hola, Granada. This is Orson Scott Card, and I'm here to apologize for not coming to Granada for the convention. Quería hablar en español, mas como pueden oír, no hablo bien el español. Hablo portugués un poco mejor, mas it's not enough. You're going to have to translate. I'm so sorry. It would have been fun to be able to practice speaking my Spanish to you for the days of the convention. And I was really looking forward to visiting the south of Spain. I've been to Barcelona a couple of times and loved the country there. And I needed to see the rest of Spain where people speak Spanish. So I'm sorry that I won't be able to come. Health problems prevent it, but I at least want a chance to be able to talk to you about what I do, which is write science fiction. Science fiction is actually, I think, the most important literature being written today, and has been for the past 50 years. Not because we're good at predicting the future, because we're not. I mean, there are a few outstanding successes where a science fiction writer came up with an idea that turned out to be true, that worked out technologically, but most of the time we're just making stuff up. And a lot of our work is pure fantasy land. We pretend to write science fiction that's based on science, but it's not. Faster than light travel, time travel, I mean, that's all silly stuff. We know that. What it allows us to do is prepare for the future in a different way, not by predicting it, but by allowing our readers to live during the time that they're reading the story, to live in a world that's different from our own, but that is related to it, that we can see the connections, we can see how the reality might get from here to there. And it allows us to practice for something that is going to happen to all of us, because 50 years from now, every one of you that is still alive is going to be living in an alien environment. You're going to be living on a hostile planet. You just won't notice that you traveled to that hostile planet because you will have gone there one day at a time. And the changes will all be gradual. Or if they're sudden, they'll be over very quickly. And you'll think that it's just history that took you there, but it's not really. We are all engaged in a great voyage. And what science fiction allows us to do, whether you read it in the form of comic books or in text on the page, it allows us to practice living in an alien environment, to see what it feels like to be somebody really different from who we are, to know people that are different from the people that we meet in our everyday life. And oddly enough, it's like traveling to a foreign country. The experience you get when you live in a country that is not your land, the land of your birth, is that when you come home again, everything about your native land surprises you. You see it with new eyes. When I lived in Brazil for 2 years, back in my early 20s, I loved Brazil. I came to love the people, the culture, the architecture. I missed it as soon as I was gone. I loved the green of the plants there. It was nothing like the desert that I grew up in the western part of the United States. And when I came home, I was so dissatisfied with so many things about America. America doesn't know how to make chocolate, for example. Americans don't know how to cook a steak. They don't even know what a good steak is. You have to go to Brazil to get that. I had the same experience just spending a week in Barcelona. Coming back to the United States, my country became foreign to me. Well, that's what happens when you read science fiction and fantasy. You move into a different world. And when you come back out of that, you close the book, you close the comic, and you return to your regular life. Doesn't it feel weak and pale, as if the colors were all washed out when you live in reality? People think that science fiction and fantasy are escapist, that we escape from reality. No, it's the opposite. We go back to reality in order to escape from science fiction and fantasy. Science fiction is hard. It's challenging. We have to change ourselves in order to experience it. But when we come back to reality, hey, that's just old habits. People are always happy to tell us exactly what to do from minute to minute. We don't even have to think to live in the real world. You have to think. You have to work to live in the future. I wish I could be there to talk to you more. I wish I could be there to answer your questions, to ask you questions. I wish I could be there to practice Spanish and to go visit the Alhambra. But instead, I'm here, I'm trapped. My heart just won't let me do what it needs to do for a while. We're going to cure it. There's nothing wrong with me that's not going to be fixed within a few weeks. It's just, I asked, no one was willing to change the convention date for me at the last minute. So instead, you'll go along and have a great time without me, and I'm going to be sitting at home watching TV with my family, thinking about, I could be in Spain. Instead, I'm here. So feel sorry for me. Pity me. I'm whining. But you'll have a great time. So thanks for listening to me. Imagine me at every panel causing trouble, heckling, asking awkward questions, pontificating, giving extra long answers until you cry and beg me to stop. That's what you would have experienced, and now you get to have a completely Orson-free convention.